My name's Chris.
And I'm Kristie.
This is the Washing Up Podcast, and we're back. I mean...
I had a nice little break.
Yeah, it was a week and a bit.
Been into therapy.
Been into therapy, got through it. Survived.
Mm-hmm.
Went through judging school. It was great. And, and we decided, though, that it would take something very special to get us back onto Masterchef, to come back to it. And I think we got the most special thing we could find.
The most spectacularly special thing ever.
Come on!
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh, we're spectacular. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I'm pretty happy right now. It's Saturday. I'm on the couch. I've got tea next to me and some candles burning, so I'm pretty happy.
Oh, nice. I like a good candle burn.
You do like a good candle burn.
Bit of incense just wafting on the breeze.
Oh gosh.
What scent you got going?
It's a bergamot. The bergamot's my favorite.
I'll just let you two go.
Like a cup of tea just drifting on the air.
I'll just let you two drop candles.
Or like, I have that, or have this like tobacco and vanilla one that I'm kind of obsessed with, which is really weird because like no one likes cigarette smoke, but tobacco and vanilla, really nice.
Oh, okay. I will remember that for next time.
It's a weird infusion, but it sounds like it works.
But like, don't just like smoke cigarettes and like blow it with like vanilla. That's
I don't drink vanilla essence and smoke some cigarettes.
Vanilla Coke and a Winnie Bill. Don't do that. All right, it's not the same.
I'm now seeing a really Aussie like range of candles coming up.
Bogan burners.
Chalky milk.
VB.
Oh, no one wants that scent. 7-Eleven sausage roll.
Yum. I'm like at 3 a.m. Yum.
It's It's only a 3 a.m. candle. Any other time of the day? No. 3 a.m. I like that one.
Yeah.
So I can imagine that the last few months have been a little bit hectic.
It's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy. But I love it because keeping busy means that you're doing stuff. So I get really bored when I don't have anything to do. That's why I find myself like hiking and like, yeah, I like an adventure, and this has been huge.
Yeah, what has been some of the highlights since the show's like ended for you? Have you been meeting people, cooking things, I presume? Like...
I hope so.
I'm working on a couple of things, but they're crazy. Oh my god, sorry, my phone is like dying. Like not dying, but like going apeshit. Yeah, I've got a few big things happening, so that's why I've kept kind of quiet. Like I'm working on my own venue. Ooh. And I could also probably be back on the TV very soon.
Ooh, excellent. I'm hoping it's like a RuPaul's Drag Race meets like Masterchef show. That would be fucking awesome.
It's time to cook for your life. And don't fuck it up.
Well, we did sort of suggest that at one point. That would be a better way to do eliminations. Cook for your life and fuck it up. So celebrity chef hair.
What?
Hey, there are all sorts of weird shows. Again, we go back through this idea of from Tony Martin's Get This radio show where we believe that we'd love to appear on F-List Rowboat. Which is just a group of celebrities in a rowboat, and then it's like you just evict people from the rowboat one at a time.
Into shark-infested water.
That would be a brilliant reality show, and we'd love to be on it.
You can't do something like that in shark-infested water. You can't just kill people on TV.
You would say that, but there are production staff right now at home going, you know what?
International waters.
That's a concept. Hooray, we can gamble and feed people to sharks.
Oh, God.
So... obviously, you sort of developed a bit, and by bit I mean a lot, of a cult following on social media. How was that for you?
It was fun because I wasn't scared of like opening my phone every minute. Like that was like the first thing that I thought about when I went on Masterchef. I was like, okay, if I'm hated, then I literally can't open my phone anymore. And I was so scared when the first episode ended. I'm like, please don't hate me.
Me.
Well, I think like for you had the perfect kind of run because you weren't like noticeable for the first couple of weeks, which is really important. And then boom, Barossa Valley, and it's like all calm all the fucking week.
Well, that's literally, it was because I was shitting myself before the Barossa. Like I was like so petrified on every single cook. I was like, yeah, nah, this is not going to work. And I was trying so hard to impress them, and they were just like, nah.
You're like montage of mediocrity.
Yeah,
yeah, literally.
Montage.
And like sometimes mum was like, you told me you cooked this. I didn't see that. I'm like, yeah, because I hated it.
Well, I think it was the week where we commented about the doing the pork in the and you're like, that's exactly what I made. And we're like, didn't even see it in the montage.
The banh mi.
The banh mi. It wasn't
the banh mi.
in the montage.
Yeah, and like I thought it was really clever. So I cut off the top of the bread, so the part where it rises out of the bread tin.
Yeah.
I cut that off, and then I pulled all the inside out, and I folded it in half, and then I put it back in the oven so that it would crisp up. And then when it came out, I was like, "Holy shit, it's a banh mi!" Like it worked.
Wow, I like it when this works.
Well, that was me the entire time. I was like, "I'm going to do this." Holy shit, it worked. Yum. What the fuck?
We'll cover a few of those in a minute where there's a couple of those holy shit it worked moments. But it was really interesting because, yeah, you've got to, for us, the perfect strategy for MasterChef is you do what we refer to as Trenting, which is, the two Trents, unfortunately, in the last two series, back to back, who the producers seem to forget were there until about halfway through, and then they re-emerged all of a sudden. And so we actually had one of the Trents. We unfortunately didn't get to do it, and we're still hoping to get him on. But maybe we had him on and we didn't notice.
Didn't notice.
He was going to come
Not
on
until halfway through the show.
Yeah, he was going to come on one of the podcasts and just sit in the background going, guys, hello, guys, how are we doing? Because it was just like he was doing both back to back, did really good food, but they just even skipped the montage of mediocrity, and then you got to the last five, and it was suddenly there's four. Oh, Trent's still here. It's perfect because they weren't in eliminations. They weren't under any threat. They just went all the way through. For us, that's the perfect strategy.
Well, we always talk about being like, we just needed to be we needed to be not the worst. You needed to be the second worst. And that's how you get through to the end. I was like, if I'm the second worst, I'll be fine.
Yeah, because it's like my mantra at uni: P's equal degrees.
Yeah, P's get degrees.
Exactly.
Because it's the problem. The problem, and I think Sashi saw it in the middle of the competition, and you had a little bit of it towards the end when you were flying, is that once they know that you can really do this, that sets a brand new bar. And then if there's a moment where you dip even slightly under that, you might find yourself in elimination, even if it's not too bad.
Yeah.
So it's about setting your expectations.
Yeah. Do you know what? You always try your best in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And like sometimes, because you're trying your best all the time, it's like you, as you said, you fuck up one element, and then the judges are like, "Yeah, you could have done better than this." And I was like, "But I didn't."
You gave me an hour, and I produced a miracle.
Yeah. God.
You know how long this crackling normally takes?
I know. They always crack on about this crackling. I'm like, do you know how hard it is to do crackling in 1 hour?
Let's get to the crackling, because we're going to come to mushrooms later on. But we'll start with crackling. Because I was saying before to Kristie, before we started talking to you, that you low-key this year did some of the best crackling in the series, and you did a lot of it, and it was really good consistently. And for some reason, that wasn't like, oh yeah, Khanh does crackling all the time.
No.
But what's your secret to crackling?
So you would have seen it in Chloe's cook. I rubbed salt. So I sweat it first with a fuckload of salt on top. And everyone thinks you're wasting time, like you're spending 10 minutes with it not being in the oven. But it dries it out completely. And then I pat it, and then I re-salt it, then put it in the oven. So everyone's like, that's so much salt. I'm like, yeah, but it's what you need. Skin. Like the skin, like it just pulls the moisture out. Like the salt actually doesn't go all the way into the skin. Like if you think about it, it's like the skin is semi-permeable. It's not like a piece of meat.
Yep.
So it's like, so that's how I do it. And then I started at like around 200, and then I pump it up at the end for the last 10 minutes to 250. But it always freaks me out because you're banking on it working, and it never looks like it's working until like the last second. Yeah. And then it works. But like, I'll be looking at the clock. I'm like, I have 7 minutes left, and this isn't crackled. This is fucked. And then like,
it takes off at the end. It always does.
Yeah. And then 2 minutes later, it's like, oh, it's perfect.
This is good. I'm really happy that you're saying this, because as Kristie will be able to vouch for, one of the things my family is really good at is crackling.
He comes from a line of butchers as well.
I do.
Oh.
So we were talking about how you do pork crackling, and I have this argument with everyone all the time when we go over their house, and they're like crackling, and they're doing like lemon and this and that. Salt, more salt. And they're like, what, really? And every time. The crackling works. It's the
Like,
one thing we can do
add
really well.
moisture to it.
It just works. It just works. Like if you want to flavor your pork, then I rub like a spice mix or something on the bottom, like where the meat is. I don't flavor the top.
No, because leave the crackling perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So leave the crackling alone.
Leave the crackling
Walk
alone.
away.
Dry it.
Salt it.
Leave crackling alone.
Yes.
Leave crackling alone.
My Britney Spears.
You need
Oh
you
God.
need to do that. So the pork was one thing, and you did a lot of really good pork and a lot of good uses of crackling too. Even when occasionally it was use the crackling. Why did you use crackling for?
Why not?
Yeah,
It's like because it's crackling and it makes everything better.
crackling does make everything.
You use it as a
better.
garnish. You don't use it as like a whole thing. You're like, it's a garnish.
It's a garnish. It's a great garnish.
It's a garnish that took an hour to do, but it's a garnish.
It's the most delicious of garnishes.
Like, they're making a lot of people redundant. If they just serve some crackling while it's going on, wouldn't be as bad.
No, exactly. Look, unfortunately, we're going to have to lay you off. Oh, crackling. Yay! The way to fix unemployment.
I don't
So
know how I feel about that.
The Muslims and the Jews, you get chicken crackling. Like it's
there you go.
know, just different crackling.
Chicken crackling is interesting. So let's go to mushrooms.
Yes.
So
Can you hear us still?
mushrooms became a trope.
Oh, cool.
Mushrooms kind of started to become a bit of a Khan trope.
Just for a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks there till the end.
But I think it was because you connected a lot with that dish. It just looked
Oh my
like
God. It was just the pine. So I love mushrooms, but I am obsessed with pine mushrooms. You need to try them because they are amazing. And I as I said, I forage for them. Like, I don't like the word forage. I just go on adventures and I go looking for them. So it's like, So,
and if you're looking for one sort of mushrooms and come across another sort of mushrooms.
No, well, the thing about mushrooms is I get really scared if I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
So I really only grab the slippery jacks and the pine because I know what they are.
Yeah.
And but that was like something that was really enjoyable for me. I would always bring a friend or two and we'll make a day out of it. And then you find nothing for the first hour. Like literally every single time, no matter where I go, I will find nothing for the first hour. And then for the next hour, they'll be everywhere. And it's just because like you haven't been used to seeing them. So you think they're not there. But yeah, so it's like a really fun thing for me to do. And then we always cook them back at my house. And we do like a really simple, just like onion, veggie stock, mushroom risotto.
Oh.
But because the mushrooms are so beautiful that's all it needs. Like it's literally the mushrooms that shine in that dish. And I was trying to do it that day, and then I was like, I can't make the risotto. Like I will, like they will rip me apart.
We know what happens.
I know. I was just like, oh no, but it's like the best risotto ever. Like it is literally like life changing. And then I was like, yeah, but that would probably change my life in a bad way, and I'll get eliminated. So let's not do this.
If you'd made the risotto, no matter if it was good or the most brilliant one you've ever had, the second you did that, social media would have just collapsed upon itself into its universe. It's like, oh shit, he's making risotto, and then just heads would have exploded everywhere. It'd be like if you suddenly turn around and go, you know what this dish needs? White chocolate velouté.
Oh, God. I'm obsessed with that, like that running like Masterchef storyline. The white chocolate velouté is just iconic.
And velouté appeared so many times this year.
Yeah.
Like, and so
I kind of get really confused about veloutés. I'm like, so you make a roux, and then what? And then like why didn't I don't understand why you just didn't make like a jus or like another sauce? Like how is flour and butter? I don't know. I was just like, isn't like adding flour to a sauce really old school?
It is. It's very old.
Which actually makes sense why it's back though, because it is all about like old school food.
Everything is coming back.
But essentially, when you add flour to it, it turns it into a gravy. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. So a velouté, I think it's just a fancy word for like I'm making gravy.
Yes, which is why people at home, you don't add white chocolate.
I'm looking forward to going down to KFC for some potato and velouté.
Can I have the mashed potato and velouté, please?
Something to dip my chips in.
Can I have a velouté and chips, please? Just.
But like, you know what? It is so funny the stuff that we say because I'm like, I'll call something, and in my head I'm like, this sounds so much cooler than it is. Like I rehydrated. There was a vegetarian challenge where I rehydrated currants in a gastrique.
Yeah.
But a gastrique is literally sugar and vinegar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you could go velouté and I'll have velouté and pommes frites. It sounds great. You're talking about chips and
Yes, chips and gravy.
Oh, that is so coming
This is-
to a
this is-
cafe.
This is
somewhere
how
in the
you
eastern
Masterchef
suburbs.
it up.
Oh, right. She just bring that.
Yeah, so like I literally tried to throw the word gastric in there so many times. And I'm like, it sounds so cool.
Deconstructed.
I'm making a gastric.
Deconstructed is just code for couldn't be asked to put it together.
Well, I think
out of
deconstructed
time.
couldn't be asked. It's actually I don't have enough time.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
I've got an hour. You're giving me
Yeah.
a challenge that takes 3. So,
But you know who's really good at doing constructed?
Mhm.
Jess.
Yes.
Every dessert that she makes is like constructed. And I look at it, I'm like,
Yep.
how you do that? How you do that though? Like,
yeah,
how did that
she does it,
happen?
and you're like,
It's
that
just
looks.
Superwoman.
You're like, that looks. Oh, actually, that looks quite good. Oh,
Yeah.
How?
Like she made like a lime meringue tart, and I was like, how did you do that in an hour? Like, how did you set that and then set that and cook the pastry and then like how? I would have just like, here's a crumb, here's some curd, here's some meringue,
smear.
and salt because
Shard.
savory.
Oh.
Oh,
So, the other thing, outside of pork and mushrooms, and it's probably far more important, there was a lot of stuff that you were cooking that had roots for you at home. And
yeah.
stuff that came from home. So just sort of talk us a little bit about, that sort of inspiration and how you were sort of able to take that and run with it.
So what happened was before Adelaide, before the Barossa Valley, I was like trying to be cool. Like I was trying to like do things that would impress the judges. And then I started realizing that stuff that I cooked at home was cool and that they liked that stuff. So I kind of kept going because I was like, well, these are all dishes that I'm really familiar with. Mum and I cook together all the time. Like most nights before I come and visit her, she'll call me and she'll be like, what do you want? I'll be like, I want this. I want maybe this and this, but like maybe see what Amy wants. And she's like, no, what do you want? And I'm like, I'll call you back. I'll call Amy. Amy, what do you want? Like, Mum's asking me what I want, but like, you're there too. So like, what do you actually want? She goes, oh, I want this, this, and this. I'm like, okay, I'll call Mum back. I'm like,
So we know who the favorite is.
well, no, it's because Amy lives with Mum, so
Oh,
she's
okay.
there every night. So I'm there like maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Mm.
So I think Mum's more like, oh, I'll look after you because you don't have home cooked meals. Nah, Mum, I cook.
Did you go on to MasterChef just to prove to your mother that you cook?
Do you know, everyone asked me why she wasn't at my audition. And I said, I had my sister, my best friend there because I can't cook in front of Mum in that situation. I would freak out. Like I would totally be like, I am not doing this right. I'm ruining all your recipes. Like when I auditioned, she was literally like to me, so the Mum you're using as a pickling liquid, like what? And I was like, don't worry, like just leave me alone. Like I know that it's like a dipping sauce, but I'm using it to pickle. But like, can you just please leave me alone? Like it will be okay.
We're filming those little interstitials where they get you to go and like show you cooking around, and you know go and show you cooking with your mum. Were they just nerve-wracking then?
Yes, yeah. But like, so we did a couple of dishes, but one of them I had never ever done before. I've seen Mum do it, but I had never done it before. And they're like, okay, can you cook that? And I was like, holy fuck.
I don't want to cook this up.
And it's like, it's a whole, so it's basically a whole fish that you kind of coat in like flour and like whatever and your spices. And then you hold it over a wok and you ladle the hot oil on the
I've
fish.
seen that.
And I was like, I've never done this before and I'm doing it and it's kind of working and she's looking at me and I'm like, oh my God, am I missing spots? What's going on? Like,
That would be my problem. I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd be ladling going, is that enough? Am I getting everything? Is there one like raw bit in the middle? Have I
it's
missed
like,
something?
it was actually so crazy. And Mum was like, no, you did really well. I was like, thank you. She's like, and I like that you put skewers in it. So now it looks like a fish is swimming. I'm like, yeah.
The whole presentation. But yeah, you started towards the end of the competition to do a lot more of those sort of home style dishes. You and Sashi actually. Sashi started doing the same thing too.
I fucking loved it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, how good was Sashi's curries?
Oh, they were so yum. They were, Sashi's cooking is so flavoursome. Like, whenever we would have, like, there was a few nights when it was actually Sashi and Loki that cooked together, and we were like, yeah, bring it on. Just bring it on.
That sounds like flavour heaven.
Yeah. And then Samira would make a bread, and then I would be like, all right, I'm just going to sit here. Like, I'm done. I'm done for the day. I'm like, I'm not cooking tonight. Like, I'm going to be so full after
How's
this.
that?
I'll provide the beats.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I did that. So we cooked together, like in practice cooks, and I would always like, hey guys, do you mind if I have like music on? And they were like, yes, do it. And then I became like, it was really fun because then like by the end everyone was like, what time are you cooking? And I was like, why? And they're like, because we like having your music in the background. I'm like, yes.
Like perfect DJ advertising.
So did you pair like music with like whatever cuisine was being?
Well,
like?
no, I just like the music that I listen to is different to music that I play. The music that I listen to is like your sing along tracks from like the early 2000s, late 90s, and it's just like, and you just end up running around the kitchen screaming. Yeah, exactly. No, but actually, and like Usher's Burn, and it's like, oh, so good.
Some, original Destiny's Child.
Ashanti, like Kathy, like early 2000s Ja Rule. Oh,
okay, so what we need to do now is we need to get you a gig in like one of those retro clubs. Literally, you can just program the stuff you listen to.
You know what? I've done that though. Like I played like Nelly and Kelly's Dilemma out, and everyone's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then they're like, and then about like 30 seconds in, everyone's singing along, and I was like, "Yeah, see, that's what I was doing."
It's really funny because I do a teaching unit where we're actually going to look at rap and hip hop as a pop culture case study, and I've got a group of like 17-year-old girls in the class. It's pretty much an all girls class. And it's hilarious because I went, oh, we're going to do this. And they went, oh, yeah, that could be interesting. And then I just started playing Salt and Pepper and TLC. And they're just like, yes, more of this, please. Play more. Give us more. So it's really interesting. I think people would listen to it.
Everyone knows Salt and Pepper and TLC in their lives.
Yeah, we know. You are very big.
They're iconic. They're really iconic. So it's like with music. Like it's the same as food. Like things that are old become new again, and artists like that become new again because the new generation that are growing up listening to like old school music.
Speaking of things that are old becoming new again,
salad tureens. The old school like 1970s tureens.
No, we're not doing that ever again.
Not dealing with this.
You know what did
come? Okay, so
I
literally used to flick through like the really old like cookbooks that will have like lamb set in jelly with mint. I was like, obviously, like, I'm not going to do that. But it was actually really good for inspiration. Like, it was really good to look back at, like, old school recipes. I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. But, like,
I don't have enough parsley to present that on, though.
Yeah. And also, I'm not setting a lamb ragu in mint jelly.
But
like,
did you?
Not something
Were there enough brown beige plates in the Masterchef kitchen to really bring home that 70s?
Look,
with an orange crock-pot
and cherry tomato.
Oh my god, I love orange crock-pots.
I love them too. My mother still has one, so I love those.
You know what I did, and I have to confess because she'll never listen to this. Mum, I'm very sorry. I broke your trifle bowl. I know.
You're the devil.
I am. I cried.
Well, you didn't break the trifle bowl.
Okay, I took it to because it was like a gathering. It was like a friend gathering. It was like a July, Christmas in July, a Yule thing. I thought I'll take the trifle bowl because it's a part of my heritage, and we always have like, trifle at Christmas time. And I took it along, and then some shithead kid broke it.
Oh my god. That's so funny though. And I'm laughing more because you said the word gathering. I don't think I've heard that word since like I was like 13. It's like, no, it's not a party, it's a gathering.
Yeah, we have gatherings all the time.
gatherings all the time. So like trifle and stuff like that. Again, they're a bit more retro and sort of throwback. Was there anything that they sort of challenge-wise throughout that you were like, really, that's interesting?
Yeah. The trifle challenge where I had to eat the trifle, and I got really confused because I was like, so if I get an ingredient wrong, do I lose a point? And so that was all I was thinking. So I didn't write down everything because I was like, if it's not in there, I'm going to lose a point. So I only wrote down what I thought like had to be in there, and then at the end, like everyone's listed for like 35 ingredients, and I was like 11 because I was like, I only wrote down the stuff that I knew was in there.
I didn't randomly guess.
No, I was like, because obviously you taste things and you know how things are made. So I was like, I know there's milk in there, but what if there's no milk in there? Like, what then? Do I lose a point? So I'm like, I'm not going to write down milk. I'm just going to write cream because there's definitely cream in there. Yeah. So I was like, you didn't take those risks because I just thought that I was going to lose points. And I didn't want to be in like minus 15. How many ingredients did you get? Minus 15. Fuck.
But I got 11 right. Yeah, but you got the rest of them fucking wrong.
60 wrong.
You wrote 100
26
different
wrong.
ingredients. You wrote 100 different ingredients. You're on -80. Right? So what this means is, by the way, Khanh, we mean this. Every challenge from here on in, you have to make points up to get 0.
Could you imagine if it was a point system to Masterchef?
You're going to come back from like -80.
You got eliminated 3 weeks ago. What are you still doing here?
There's only 36 ingredients in here, so Khanh, you're automatically in elimination. It doesn't matter if you get right or wrong.
But was there white chocolate?
Yeah. I got a perfect round. It doesn't matter. You still owe us points.
Get to the grand final and you like get 10s across the board and you just make it to 0.
It's just -40. So you're like, grand final could be interesting. Khanh coming from a deficit of -40.
So even if he gets a perfect score, he wins.
The other side of the kitchen literally has to blow up.
Oh, okay. Can I say something?
Go.
So I said something during an interview, and I was so annoyed that they didn't use it because I thought it was literally how I was feeling at the time. So during Gordon week,
yep,
I brought a plate up, and he actually liked it, but because of all of the other people's critiques, I thought he was going to rip mine apart. Like, I just assumed. So they're like, how did you feel when you were bringing it up? I was like, look, I was just trying to imagine that I was in my own kitchen and I was like presenting this to my friends, except my friend is Gordon Ramsay and he's screaming at me and the kitchen is on fire and I'm trying to deal with that as well. And like my plate's on fire and it's just really hot and I'm over this. And they just didn't use it. I was like, why did you cut that out? Like, that was actually how I felt.
That's the best description for going and seeing Gordon Ramsay I think I could ever have. It's the most accurate.
It was petrifying. Like, it was like, I was, I think, the 15th or the 13th dish tasted. And before me, there was only 3 dishes, really, that Gordon didn't absolutely just rip apart.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, well, I'm in for a beating. So I was like, literally, like, I was inside. I was like, how do I get out of this? Like, can I just like throw this plate and run? Like, what do I do now?
Like, no, just put your gimp suit on and walk to the front.
Be ready. But what I loved about that challenge was like the when they did the one where they had you guys versus the professional guys, it was hilarious because the professionals all got ripped to pieces by Gordon. And the camera were, oh my God, he ripped us to pieces. Gordon Ramsay told me I'm shit.
And he was actually like, he was so fun to watch. Like in the gantry, I was looking down, I was like, this is so cool because he's not yelling at me.
Yeah, he's screaming at other people. And I also felt really bad for Ben when he threw the fish. And the reason was, I think he threw the fish because the night before, if you remember, he tried to throw the packet of stuff and it just sort of floated to the ground and didn't go anywhere. So the fish throw I thought was, I'm going to throw something before this is over.
He actually threw so many of her ingredients that night.
Yeah.
It was like, like we didn't, so the chef that came in, he threw like 8 of her, like he threw her macadamias, like there was just everything that wasn't a vegetable. He's like, no! And I was like, but that's a nut. Like, is that a fruit? Like,
I just like to think this isn't for TV. This is just him in everyday life. Oh, so sweetheart, do you want to go to the ballet tonight? Grabs the concert tickets. No! Throws them across
you know, walks into a family gathering and just starts throwing plates around. You know, not because he hates them. That's just a Gordon greeting.
You call this fairy bread? This is not fairy bread.
But I hadn't finished yet. Oh, sorry. But yeah, it was the way that like everything just sort of fluttered to the ground and didn't get wrecked. So I just thought the next night when he grabbed the fish, before he threw it, there was a moment in his head going, this'll get distance. I
actually didn't see that. I didn't see that until the end, like until they told me about it afterwards. Because I was like, head down. Like, you don't see what's happening in the other kitchen.
No. It's just, I can imagine there's so much going on, you know, and especially with, as we said, the master stock players up on the gantry, sort of preparing their seasons of performance. And,
I don't know if you heard that episode, but we conjectured that with the with everyone up on the gantry in black, that you just start rehearsing a play, and you were directing, of course. Just
no, literally, if you looked at my face when I was on that gantry, half the time I look like the biggest bitch because I'm like just concentrating and I'm just staring like, please don't go home, like staring down. But like every time the camera panned to me, I was like, okay, I just look like I'm about to like murder your whole family. Like what? like smile.
On a scale of 1 to 10, How annoying is it having the gantry screaming at you while you're trying to cook?
You don't hear it.
You don't hear it?
You don't hear it. You don't hear it. So you see it on TV, but when you're actually there, you maybe hear like a tenth of what people are saying.
Except for the day that Sarah told them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of depends on what you want. So I always kind of like, I don't really pay attention to the gantry much, except Ben and Huda and I and Chloe got really close.
Yeah.
So I would filter their voices.
Yeah. But like picking out the voice I care about. That's
no, but like because I know that like they would be like intently watching me.
Yeah.
So I would be like
the judgment thing of they're watching what I'm doing and they're actually
So like they actually will be telling me something that's really helpful because I know that they're watching me. So especially with like Chloe was really good. She's like, "Why are you doing that?" I was like, "I don't know why I'm doing that. You've got a point. I'm moving on." Because we actually can't give like how do you say really specific advice?
No.
We can ask questions. So that's why there's a lot of questions asked in the gantry because we can't actually say like that is wrong.
Yeah, you've got to go.
Don't
what's
put
your
the white
reason?
chocolate in the veloute.
Yeah. What's the reason for the white chocolate being near veloute? Can you explain why it's around it?
Okay, so totally not on tangent and like
which is what we do. That's fine.
Okay, so there was a challenge where it was because you said white chocolate, so I thought, oh my god, relay challenge. In the relay challenge, I freaked out because I had thought that I had lost my taste buds.
Oh god.
Yeah, I couldn't taste, like I was like not trying to taste things and I was told an element had cinnamon and honey in it.
Oh, that was the one that yeah.
Yeah, and I was tasting it like crazy and I was like, there's no cinnamon or honey in it. Like, there's definitely no hint. So like, but I just couldn't taste it. And they're like, but it's in there. And I was like, no, it's not. And anyway, so I was freaking out. I was like, okay, I've lost my taste buds. I've burnt them. Something's happened. So that's why I started like frantically running around. I was like, okay, honey. Like, and then about 3 weeks later, Kristen goes to me, you know that day that you freaked out because you thought that there was no honey or cinnamon in the element? I was like, yeah. She goes, you were given wrong information because there was no cinnamon or honey in that element. And I was like, what the actual fuck? Like, I changed the way I was eating. Like, I was not having, like, really hot teas and coffees because I was like, I need to get my taste buds back or I'm going to get eliminated. Because I was like, I literally can't taste any of this. And she goes, yeah, it wasn't in there. And I was like...
I just love the implicit love and, like trust you had in your teammates.
And I also love the fact that, like, you were, like, halfway through going to the producers, look, guys, I'm going to have to go home. I can't taste
I can't taste it. I was like, and cinnamon's very obvious. So I was like, why can't I taste cinnamon? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, what? I'm like, is it pressure? Because I know that a few of us, when we are really under pressure, we forget about tasting. So you forget really like simple things. So I was like, maybe I've forgotten how things taste. Like it was just like, oh.
Have I been in here so long? I don't remember anymore.
Too much? I've been eating too much chili.
Yeah, I'm like, I've overloaded my taste buds.
One of my favorite things, by the way, to watch you do, we talked before about those tasting challenges, was that butcher's challenge with all the meat. That was brilliant. How much pressure did you feel?
I was like low-key shitting myself. Like I was just like, and yeah, they didn't show something that we guessed that it was like pretty much last, and I was one of the last people to guess it, and I don't understand why no one else got it. Like, I walked up, I think it's because it was in this corner, and there was a lamb leg, and none of us guessed it. Like none of us chose a lamb leg, and then I walked up to it, I was like, it could be a leg or it could be a shoulder cut weird, and I was like, and then I looked to the side, I went around it, and I looked on the side, and I could see like the stripe that like the leg usually has, like the marking on it, and I was like, oh,
that's a leg.
That's a lamb leg. And then like, yes, finally, someone said it. And I was like, how did none of us see this? Like, it was just so like.
But it looked like everyone zoomed. Like everyone zoned, and so they decided they had to do the tricky things. And you're like, there's really obvious things sitting there, and everyone's trying these things, and they're like, I think it might be. Like, go the obvious.
So what I do in those challenges is I go up and I look at the most like hard things that I can and try and figure them out. But then like, so I'll spend like, because it's actually, you spend a little bit more time than it looks like you do up there. Like you spend like maybe 30 seconds rather than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like you walk up and down a little bit. So I walked up and down and I was like, okay, I've got like 11 things that I know, but that's a chicken breast. Like, so I could bank the other ones away. But then by the end, I was like, okay, I'm running out of things. Can someone please go into elimination because I really can't go into elimination. Mum will
Somebody
kill
say
me.
that that piece of bacon there is quite clearly lamb. Just pretend the bacon's lamb.
It's a quail.
Oh, I was really scared of those challenges, and then by a couple of weeks in, I was like, okay, I love these challenges. I'm doing really well in them. I don't know how it's happening.
Like this year, there were more of those.
Well, the way
I think
you
they've usually
slayed
had.
it with Reese for the immunity pin and the Barossa, like that was fucking like you two were just killing it.
Reese and I were looking at each other, and I was like, I'm really sorry, but this looks really rigged, doesn't it, Reese? And he goes, yes, you've gotten every single Asian ingredient ever. And I was like, yeah, but he's like, are you smelling it? Like, what the fuck? And I was like, well, I don't know. I just like, because it was like fish sauce, belacan, quail leg, an apple, a pear. And I was like, what the fuck?
So let's talk about, the immunity. Let's talk about the immunity challenge, because that challenge was brilliant. Like, legitimately, that challenge was brilliant. How was it to be in that challenge? Like,
peanut butter or Vegemite?
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I think everyone was expecting me to choose Vegemite, so I was just looking at it and I was like, I actually don't know what I can make with Vegemite. Like, I know that I can do like a satay, but like, is a satay going to win me an immunity? Probably not. I'm like, is a peanut butter ice cream going to win me immunity? Not when I'm in the sun on a 35-degree day. Like it's not like it will melt. So I was just like, I actually have no idea what I was going to do with Vegemite, but I thought it's really savory. It's really rich. I can probably make something up. So I just was like, oh, fuck it. Like, I got this far, so let's just try it. Vegemite.
Let's run.
Yeah.
Well, it was brilliant.
And then
we were watching it, and I'm like, what the hell is he going to do with Vegemite? And then you started doing the balancing. I'm like,
ooh,
that's thinking.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've actually been working a lot with Vegemite right now. Trying to work them into more, like Vegemite into more savory dishes. And I think I have like a nook mum, like a Vietnamese nook mum. Instead of using fish sauce, again, I use the Vegemite, and it makes the dish vegan.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah. And yeah, so I was like trying to work about like around dietaries and stuff like that. And I was like, this is such a core sauce in Vietnam, but it's made of fermented fish.
Yeah.
So how do I change the fermented fish so that it can become a vegan sauce?
Yeah.
And I was like, and then so I was playing with it, and the Vegemite works. It's not like exactly the same, but it's still like, oh, it is. You
recognize the flavor.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that challenge was like epic. Like that challenge was like, I was freaking out. I had maybe like, I think I counted 9 elements on that whole dish. And it was just like, why am I doing that? It was because I was dumb, but I ended up like not using some of them. Like I didn't use the crispy chicken skin. I didn't use my charred baby capsicums. I had like baby like peppers that I didn't char. That I charred, but I didn't use because I didn't get the skin off, and I was like, I'm not serving that because the skin's not off it. Anyway, so yeah, but it was really fun. It was really fun because like everyone was just like, go Khanh. I was like, yay, support.
Supporting people.
I can use my phone again. Look, my mentions, they're wonderful.
Well, I was like, I flicked through and I'm like, oh yay, you don't think that I'm shit.
You featured a lot. Twitter does their Twitter moments now. You featured a hell of a lot on the Twitter moments this year.
With your self-made memes, which were fucking fantastic.
Yeah, let's talk memes. Because your meme game is overwhelmingly strong.
With the memes, I make them like in life anyway. But I couldn't, when we got content in, we had restrictions on what we could post. So I was like, if I just post a photo of myself, that's still Masterchef content. Like, so I was like, that was my way around it. I was like, if I post this, I'm allowed to post this, and it doesn't matter that I've just said like stupid things on it.
No,
and
I
made sure not to use other people's photos without their permission as well. So like, I would always ask the other contestants. I would send them the meme first and like, hey, do you mind if I put this up? And usually they're like, yeah, it's fine. Because like, I didn't want to like make fun of like a situation and then make it look like this person was a bitch.
Yeah.
No, it's not
so
like
with Sarah,
it takes it out of context.
No.
Yeah, like with Sarah, I asked her if I could make a joke about her using carrots, and she's like, yeah, it's fine.
She's like, please do. I want to be the carrot queen.
Please, Australian Carrots can give me a sponsor.
Which was amazing. Like that dish was amazing. I was freaking out that day because I thought that when we chose our ingredients that the judges would make us swap our boxes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was
I
a
don't
challenge.
want
Like,
carrots.
go shop and then everyone push your box to the right. And I was like, between Jenny and Sarah's boxes, I was like, nah, I can't do this either.
Can't do
Like, I can't do this. Like, Jenny had a chicken. She had one chicken, a clove of garlic, and like a thumb piece of ginger. And I was like, where the fuck are all your other ingredients?
So with the Coles challenge, where you had to go to Coles and buy something and come back and then make it, Jo has infamously said to us a number of times that she just really wanted to go and get a barbecue chicken and use it. If you were doing that challenge like without those rules, what would you have wanted to grab?
Oh my god! I do love a barbecue chicken because oh my god, I could do I do a salad with that barbecue chicken.
Ooh.
So when I was shredding before Masterchef, so I would eat the same thing for lunch every single day, and it was literally like a quarter of that chicken, and then I would do like all of these different leaves, and it was really like some bit like whitloaf, cucumber, capsicum, tomato, all like not cooked at all, and then I would make a dressing out of like sesame, soy, white wine vinegar, and really random balsamic into it as well. So it was like Asian and non-Asian, like Italian. But it was literally it was so lit. Like it was like I was like eating this salad every single day. I was like, I can live off this. Like I'm losing weight and I can live off this, and I'm really happy right now. Anyway, I wouldn't have made that on the show because the judges would have just been like, no.
Depends how you play it.
I don't know. Maybe like if I was being really lazy, maybe like oh my god, the packet noodles, like the packet not the noodles, the soups, the packet soups, because that is full of flavoring. MSG flavoring.
Yes.
So you could use that as like a way to like flavor things, like a piece of protein. You rub that on, and then like you can fry it, and then like everyone will be like, "Oh my god, this is so flavors!" And how did you do that? I rubbed like dehydrated soup mix on it.
Yeah. Packet French onion. Packet French onion.
Cob loaf.
Cob loaf. Anybody?
Oh my god! I'll just do a soup and pour it into the cob loaf. Done. By the time it gets to the judges, that would be melted all the way through, and it would be a mess on a plate.
But it's cob loaf, and no one's going, well, we don't want a cob loaf.
No, everyone's
going, no, the cob loaf. In fact, it may not make it to the judges because everyone's like, just give us a bit of your cob loaf, can't that's gone. What was it?
The amount of times that I would steal other contestants' food while they're cooking.
Like, where's my main?
I mean, actually, producers, I never did that. I know that that's not allowed, and I never did that.
You would never have done that in a million years. Someone's there going, I had a duck. It was right there. And it's just,
it's like once it's cooked. So once it's cooked, like Chloe and I would always sneak food to each other, and same with like Sarah, Michelle. Like we would always sneak food to each other, but we're not allowed to. We're not allowed to try each other's food, and we just always be like, there's a little plate on the edge of my bench, and there's like every single one of my elements on that plate, all like together. And if it happens to go missing, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. If I turn my back and the elements are gone, well, we talk a lot to the Bake Off people as well, and we have a lot to do with them. And the difference is that they're like actively encouraged. So like with Bake Off, a bake finishes, and they have to actually make sure it gets to judging because everyone just rushes each other's benches. It's massive. Like at the end of it, they finish and they do all the judging, and the second the judging's done, like everyone's just like, "Give me some of that." Give now. So they've got to make sure they've got enough to get judged.
Like a couple of seasons ago, someone made was it last season?
Yeah,
Chris's fried chicken.
Yes, the fried chicken.
Oh my
They did
God.
fried chicken and waffles for one of the challenges, and his fried chicken barely made it to the judging.
Yeah,
it was gone.
Legit, like 100%. I would have just been like, I'm sorry, you might get eliminated today because I've eaten all your chicken.
So for us to ask something that's, a stock standard question, not like us.
No.
What was your favorite thing that you cooked? And what was your favorite thing that someone else cooked?
Oh, I want to think about that second one first.
Well, that's why I gave you
okay.
You cooked.
I'm going to go with the second one first. My favorite thing, I didn't get to try it, but it was more of a proud moment for me. Yeah. So the return cooks, I was watching the return cooks, and like we're supposed to be watching everyone, but I was watching Michelle. Like I literally my eyes were on Michelle the whole time, and watching her cooked that day, it was so beautiful. The flavors made total sense to me. And she went out on pasta. So she's like, I'm coming back in on pasta. And she rocked that dish. And I was like screaming, like the whole time I was just like screaming. I was like, yes, Michelle! Yes!
You're so back.
Stop screaming. And I was like, look at how nice that pasta looks. Like, just look at that tree. Like, look at that Parmesan swirl. Who doesn't want like baked Parmesan? Like, fuck yeah. I was just so happy. And then she was like, and I was like, of course, Michelle, you're gonna do a fucking kale dust because that's just totally you. Like,
kale dust. It's on the drinking game next year.
It's actually like, it's not like, it's totally on brand with Michelle. So I was like, you know what? You can do it because it's you. Like, she's all about like your lamb backstrap and your truffles and your macadamias and your pistachios and your kale dust. And like all these, like really fancy things.
Going around sprinkling kale dust on things.
She actually taught me how to make it. Like literally that day, she's like, anyway, if you want to make kale dust, this is how you do it. I'm like, thank you so much.
I'm really pleased I've got this. And before we get to your favourite dish that you cook, just quickly, have you ever bothered to use kale-it again?
I really like it.
You really like it?
I've cooked it with it. Like because I really like kale and I really like Brussels sprouts. And then now there's like a fancy kale Brussels sprouts.
Just a side note, and I've made mention of this a few times. It is a bit like a Game of Thrones sort of vegetable, and it's also made by the family they put on the packet is the Samwell family, so it actually works just like Game of Thrones. It's like that's what they've been doing. They've been growing kale-it the whole time. Game of Thrones is a long Coles ad for kale-it. That's what.
End of season 8 spoiler.
Yeah, they are the Samwells. They are the Samwells.
Can you imagine if
I know.
Mary's blinded on how to drag it into a kale-it farm?
I like the idea that this whole war has been over.
She wants to make kale dust Dracarys.
I'm screaming. I love this.
So, your favourite thing that you cooked now?
Oh God, it's so obvious.
Doesn't matter. If
The
it's obvious.
mushroom dish.
It's the pine mushroom dish, the Vidamon challenge. But like it's my favorite thing because it was a penny drop moment for me.
Yep.
Like it was like literally that day I realized something that was like it was just literally like I woke like it sounds so dumb. Oh my God, I woke. That day I felt really strong in that cook and like it was like a progression throughout that cook. It was like I had an idea and then the judges came over and spoke to me and the idea changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they spoke to me again and then the idea changed a little bit more. And then so at first I was going to do a whole duck breast and like do the mushrooms on the side. And then Matt came over and was talking to me about it and she was like, why, what have you chosen? I was like, these pine mushrooms. And then I chose like ingredients around the pine mushrooms. And he goes, then why isn't your main thing a pine mushroom? Why are you making a meat and 3 veg basically? Yeah. And I was like, why am I doing that? That's so fucking dumb. All right, let's move on. So I was like, but I had the duck already and I knew what I was going to do with it. But instead of like doing a jus that was just there as a jus, I made the jus, but I used the jus to cook the chestnuts in. So there was a reason why the jus was there. Like it was there to cook the chestnuts. So the chestnuts would then taste a little bit like duck. Yep. So I tied that in again. And then one of the producers asked me about how I was going to plate it. And at that moment I hadn't thought about it. I was like, so I'm going to plate it like the pine mushrooms grow. And then like as soon as I thought about how pine mushrooms grow, I literally ran out of the kitchen. I was like, hold that thought, I'll be back. And I ran outside and grabbed kale and like stuff because like I could crunch up. And he's like, okay, what have you done? And I was like, so I'm cooking this and then I'm doing this because I want it to look like pine mushrooms in the forest because when you find them, they're covered by like all this foliage, but you can see the bright orange and then like you move it and when you cut the stem, all the earth at the bottom is damp. So like the chestnut puree is going to be not fully pureed. It's going to be like I won't use too much stock in there. Like I would keep it quite earthy, like dry, and then it'll be rehydrated by the sauce that I pour into it. And yeah, so like in my head, this dish was like the best thing that I have ever made in my life. Like I had never made anything better than this. I had never thought that I could ever make anything that like just tied in together. Like I brushed the beetroot with duck fat. Like I was just trying to tie everything in, and I was using the duck as seasoning rather than duck as like a main element. Yeah. And then when I finished, I was really happy, and I was doing this really happy interview, and then they walked away, and then I erupted in tears, and they're like, "What did you do? What did you fuck up? Like, what's happened?" I'm like, I haven't fucked up anything. They're like, "Why are you crying then?" I'm like, at that point for me, I said to the producer, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever done. Yeah. And at this point, if I don't win today's challenge, I've realized I'm not going to win the competition because this is me. This is all I can give, and I can't give you any more than this. So if this isn't good enough, then I'm not good enough. Like that's basically how it is. And so I fully like broke down and just was like, but I tried to do it away from the cameras. I was hiding behind like my bench and stuff, like sitting down, and like the cameras were like, "What are you doing?"
That's the smart move, is to not break down in front of the cameras. It's like the other rule, which we always say, which is never stand up in front of a camera and go, "This is my week." Because it always turns when you go, "This is my week. I can't, like, this is my ingredient."
I'm all about Gordon
and
Ramsay.
And you could see it at home too. Like, you could see it at home too after that week was when you went on that run where it just seemed to be everything you were doing was just going amazingly well.
And you'd always been beautiful to watch. Like, I really enjoyed watching you in the kitchen. Like, it was a joy to watch you because your joy and your love and your passion and your knowledge and your skills, that's what I love about MasterChef, is watching people like yourself.
Thank you.
Enjoy your art. Like, it's just,
Thank you. It was actually a really cringe, like, that episode for me was really cringe for me to watch, because I was like, I'm crying this entire episode. My sister walks in, I'm crying. At the end of my cook, I'm crying. I win, I cry. Like, stop fucking crying. Like, keep yourself together. Like, pull it together.
You're like, but I can't. It's cooking.
Well, literally, I was like, just chill out for a second. But I couldn't. And it was really weird because every interview that I have about that cook, I end up crying again. And I'm just like, can you guys stop? Like, just stop talking to me about this fucking cook. Like, just leave me the fuck alone.
Well, we can stop talking to you about that one and talk to you about the one that sent you home. Like, if that is a good one.
You're like, I wasn't actually as upset as it seemed about that cook, because I was like, I got upset at the end. But that was because I was like, how the fuck have I messed this up? Like, everyone has a bad day in the kitchen. I've chosen my bad day to be semi-final day.
Yeah, not the finest of timing.
Yeah. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason. That was
absolutely.
That was the path that I was meant to be on. I wasn't meant to go further. And you just kind of take that and move on.
Well, you were the king of the gantry. I should say the empress of the gantry.
Empress of the gantry.
For the grand final.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah,
like your outfit was fucking phenomenal. First of all,
thank you.
Wow, it was literally, and even you were trying to get stills of it.
I was like, I wanted to post it.
You looked like the boss in like a video game fight, like, you know, like you were.
Yeah,
like,
it was the end boss. I had you up there, and again, the meme I wanted was just you standing there and finish him.
So Matt and I always talked about clothes, Ovi.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I haven't seen any of your silk outfits, because I have actually like that top and that bottom in like 16 different colors, like legitimately 16 different colors. And he's like, I've never seen you wear it in the kitchen. I was like, Matt, I can't wear that in the kitchen. Like, I just can't. And he's like, well, you can wear it grand final. And like, only if I'm not in it. And he goes, well, what do you want to be? Like, do you want to wear that? Do you want to wear like a silk satin outfit on the gantry, or do you want to be in the grand final? I was like, I want to be in the fucking grand final. Like, what are you talking about?
And that's like, well, I want an outfit.
None will wear silk before this day is up.
Well, I was thinking about what I was going to wear. I'm like, oh, I might be conservative. I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm just going to wear this, because this is what I wear.
So obviously the editors did a really good job of editing out Matt Preston sabotaging your semi-final.
Every time you turn around, you're like, how have I fucked this up? You turn around and Preston, but he's actually gone out and got like an old fake black moustache and he's twirling the corners going, you'll never see it coming.
With an eyepiece, like it's still one, a monocle.
Yes.
To be fair, I could see him with a monocle.
He would look amazing with a monocle.
Matt Preston with a monocle just makes sense. That's logic.
Well, it's like the ad they do for, getting people to audition for next season's MasterChef. The outfit, he just looks like he needs a black Stetson to make it like fully Western because he's got the chain going. And
Why, howdy, partner.
Oh my God.
I am the sheriff
Oh
of
my
this town. So to sort of finish up, if they asked you to go back and set a challenge,
100%. I
what
love
would you
MasterChef.
set? Pick something.
I would like a pressure test.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would like a pressure test, but I would want it to be like a 2-process pressure test. So I would like to do like a main and a dessert.
Mm.
And I would actually like to do it along with someone else. So it was like not like I would just do it. I'd be like, well, I'm actually not the king of dessert. Jess is. Fucking let's get Jess back on. We'll do it
You
together.
and Jess set the,
like that's what I want to do because I think that's fun. Because like I would love to walk around and be like, really?
Just you gotta watch Paul Hollywood. He is the king of making people
question their
existence when they're baking something. Yeah. So the judges on MasterChef do a good job.
But Great British Bake Off, Paul Hollywood walks up to people and he doesn't just get them to question why they're making that particular cake. It's an existential crisis by the time he's finished. Like, why am I? What am I doing here? How am I at the bench?
I had that moment on the show and they didn't really go into it. And it was the one time that I really was like, what the actual fuck? Like, I was literally like, this in my head, it's like, it just makes sense. Why am I being ripped to shreds about this? And it was okay, it's going to sound stupid now, but I said it makes total sense because it's fucking ice cream and pork belly.
No. Okay. We've actually had, again, Ungerman Brothers, we went up, saw Ben, and one of the things they do is their breakfast.
Which is a waffle with vanilla bean ice cream and pork belly and maple syrup on top.
See? So that's why like prosciutto, maple syrup, ice cream together becomes a sweet, savoury ice cream and it's salty. So like I charred the prosciutto first with the maple syrup glaze on top of it, blitzed it all up and then infused the cream with it, which is fucking fucked up in 75 minutes, just to say. Like I was just like freaking the fuck out. I was like, do I have to cook something first and then make an ice cream out of it? Oh, no, so. And then, anyway, so that, and then the crispy pork belly, and then the apples, and the chili, and then like cooking the apples in an apple cider. It all made sense until Matt Preston came over about 15 minutes and goes, this is not interesting. And I was like,
but will it taste good?
I was
tastes
like,
amazing.
How is this not interesting? Like, I put pork in a fucking ice cream.
How many places do you go, Matt, where you're like, you know what? I'm going to have the pork ice cream.
And then someone, I can't remember who was in the gantry that day. I think maybe it was Ben that had won that challenge. Was it Ben? Yeah, it was Ben. So Ben goes, how is it? I'm like, it fucking tastes amazing. And he's like, well, then keep going. And then Matt would come back over and goes, why does your ice cream taste like malt? I don't fucking know why it tastes like malt. Why, is that a problem? Like, the whole time I was like, it tastes like malt, but is that a problem? Like, is it a problem? Is he saying it's a fucking problem? Like, and then I'm like, Ben, like, do you think this is dumb? And he goes, no, like, try it together. I'm like, it's yummy. And he goes, well, then just keep doing it. I'm like, then why is Matt coming over? Like, literally, he came over to me 4 times that day. And every single time he was like, no.
This is where you turn around to Matt Preston and go, Matt, I had it a couple of weeks ago. Taste buds aren't working. Right? There's a problem in his kitchen. The taste buds aren't always working. Are you sure your taste buds are good?
It was like the only time in that kitchen that I really felt like bamboozled by like the comment. I was like, what are you talking about? Stewed apple, crispy pork, like prosciutto, maple syrup. These all work. Like, and I kept eating it. I hadn't eaten my dish that much in the kitchen because I just kept going back and being like, that works, yeah, that works. Like, I was tasting everything. And Ben goes, can you calm down? I was like, I literally can't. And like, Chloe was in front of me and she goes, dude, you're literally melting down. I'm like, that's because the fucking judges have literally just said he hates my dish. I'm like, it's 50 minutes in. I have 25 minutes left and he hates my fucking dish. What am I going to do?
You know what? So everyone needs a Ben on the gantry for them, you know, when they're going through a crisis. Like,
yeah, because he's so calm.
Yep.
He's just like,
believe in yourself.
Well, you need Aldo in the gantry, really.
You need Aldo. I've often said I just want Aldo following me around in everyday life, just to sort of boost me. Because again, in the opening when everyone was doing their auditions, and
We
Aldo,
thought he was like in Gina's family.
yeah, we just thought he was a member of Gina's family, and then like this really enthusiastic guy who didn't leave the audition, and the next thing you know, no, he's a contestant.
Oh, I loved it. He was like the most important thing ever. Like I was just obsessed with him, and I was like, how can you have someone be that nice?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to getting to see him in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, at
his
Hooters.
and Hooters pop up.
That's gonna be so good. I love Hooters so much. You guys are gonna have so much. Oh my god, their food is gonna be amazing.
Hooters food is amazing. We can confirm.
Yes,
Hooters food's incredible. So,
did you see her pantry?
Yes.
Like that's ridiculous. Like you, like I'm like, okay, so the world ends and you'll still be alive for another like 65 years.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
she's fine. She's fine.
It's like, you know, I don't know, the troops run out of fucking supplies. They go knock on her door and she just loads them up and off they go again.
A bit of behind the scenes, and we sort of talked about it on after the podcast we did with Huda, but the spread that appeared
Like,
when
it was
we
just us
arrived was incredible. It was a banquet. She
literally, I loved having her on team challenges because I'm like, you're used to cooking for a million people. Like you literally, that's how you cook. Like that's literally like, done. Like done.
Just
like,
don't mention kofta balls.
Yeah, don't mention kofta. Never make it once again.
Hey Hood, how are the cake pops going, babe?
She's fine with the cake pops.
No, she actually loved it. I kept it like that day. I was like, are you sure you're making cake pops? She's like, fuck it. My kids love it. I love it. I'm just going to do it. I was like, all right.
As she should have. Go out on a cake pop.
I love I'm like, you know what? Love it. I fucking love it. Like, and she's so frank about stuff like that as well. She's just like, yeah, I fucking don't like it. I'm like, all right.
Done. So it has been an absolute joy to have you on, and most requested thing that we've had.
Yes.
Like I said, when you got eliminated, I got a whole pile of messages from people going, so Khanh now? Yes. Like, yes. So
hopefully I delivered.
So absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully we get to talk to you again at some point in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
You've got anything you need to talk about, need to promote? Feel free. We're always around.
We can plug.
Yeah. Soon. Yeah.
Excellent.
The restaurant's happening. It's almost done.
Excited.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, but it's happening. It's that's kind of why I've been hidden away. I'm not doing like. I'm not. Yeah. I'm just not doing like
Studio 10. Cooking up with them.
I've been trying to like get this. Like I want this to become like my main thing, like the restaurant, and then obviously the book's happening. But like the book, I will do only if the restaurant is doing well because I need to be able to sell the book.
Be handy to have a restaurant shop front to be able to sell the book in.
Exactly, and there's a point of view because I'm like, if I just have a book, then I'm just gonna have a book.
You don't want to have a book.
I don't know how to sell a book if I don't have any ways to sell it. It's like I'm gonna be on the corner street.
I can't. I make memes.
It's like, hey, do you want a book? $15.90 a book.
I really hope that the middle of your book though has like 4 pages, a 4-page pullout dedicated to your homemade memes. Like just
No, it will be literally like a fold out of me in like satin silk outfits, like eating dirty food.
His own fold out. That's perfect.
Like literally, I'll have a bun sale in my hand. I'll just ram it into my face in like a red silk satin thing, and it'll just be dripping. And I'll be like, yeah, this is my life.
An outfit for every book, so it becomes a collector's item.
You are a genius. I am obsessed with that, and that is now exactly what is going to be the cover of my book.
Perfect. Just give us a credit on the front of the book.
Done.
Thank you, Khanh. It's been an absolute pleasure and a delight to talk to you. I'm still Chris.
And I'm still Kristie.
And we'll be back when Bake Off starts.
Yes.
See you later.
Ciao.